going on? We're back. It's the Gallop Out. I'm your host, Ryan, joined by my co-host, Jackson, who we see most of the time. And we're finally joined by Kaylee Shapiro. Saratoga is over. She's down at Keeneland enjoying the fall Keeneland sale. She's out enjoying some sun as well, it looks like. Hope the sun sets soon. Lots of sun, but it's all good. Kaylee, welcome back. It's been a few weeks. It's good to see you, and it's good to have the whole crew back together.
Good to see you guys too. Really excited to be all back together. The meet definitely was great, but it was nice to, get some time off after. I mean, I'm off right now and pretty rejuvenating to sit here at Keeneland. It's like empty. So feeling good. Happy to be back.
I like it. You're sitting in the Keeneland grandstands. You and I will be there in opening weekend in a couple weeks. And everybody that's watching this, make sure we get this guy, Jackson. Everybody help persuade him to get out there. He doesn't understand that Keeneland's the best. So we just really got to get him on.
I literally have my Keeneland hat on.
I know you are repping your Keeneland hat on. I get it, but
we're matching.
We got to get you out there,
yeah.
Out there for the opening weekend, Jackson. Get the three of us all together. We're gonna probably get out to some farms and whatnot. But either way, happy we're all back together. We got the Parx Late Pick 5. They have 15 races, so good luck to everybody. That is so many races. I texted Jessica Paquette earlier. I'm happy she runs marathons because that's exactly what she has on Saturday. 11 races for them tomorrow, and then of course 15 on Saturday. We're going to give you our pick 5 tickets. But first, we'll just start off. Kaylee, what did you think of the sequence before we dive on into it?
I think that it's going to be pretty formful, especially when you get into the graded stakes action on, Pennsylvania Derby Day. I think the Pennsylvania Derby itself should be a pretty formful race, and I thought that the others as well. I mean, I threw in a couple of prices that can maybe take a step up. But the longer I looked, it was hard to come up with anything too creative in that late pick 5 sequence. I do think it should be pretty formful. And it's nice to see a couple of horses we saw at Saratoga over the summer back again. And, it was useful to see them up close in Saratoga and coming into this race. So I like the sequence, though. I'm excited to play it.
Me too. Jackson, any thoughts on how you saw the sequence before we get on into it?
No, I agree. I think it could be formful. Definitely looking at some of the races. A couple look more wide open than the others, but I played it to be more formful. It's one I probably try to press up a little bit and just hope I'm really right about it if I'm going to connect the dots.
I like it. We'll get on into it here. We're going to give you our pick 5 tickets again, but I've broken it down a little bit different. We'll start with race number 11 at Parx. Race 11 is leg 1. I went 4-7. Jackson went 1-3-5-7-8. Kaylee went 4-8. Looks like we're talking about every horse in the field except for the number 6. So if you're fans of the show, you know what to do. Single the 6 and move on. We'll start from the rail. Jackson, you're using a bunch in here. Nelson Avenue is one of them. Take it away.
Yeah, I clearly don't have much of an opinion in this race. I would probably just go straight to the pick 4 if I was playing this. But Nelson Avenue is coming out of a decent race at Kentucky Downs, where he ran okay in that spot. Obviously, Kentucky Downs can be very tricky. But I thought the race 2 back at Saratoga was quite good because they let Big Everest they let him walk on the lead. And when that horse gets an easy lead like he does sometimes, he's very, very dangerous. He's very, very tough. And Nelson Avenue, he gave him a run. And he sat in the pocket, tipped out on the outside, and he was getting to him late. I think he's in really good form right now. I think getting back the dirt is not going to hurt either. He's obviously very, very talented on the dirt as well. Inside post, speedy type, but doesn't need the lead. I mean, there's plenty to like about this horse. He's a big threat in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have too much to push back on that one. Just not where I ended up going. By the way, we're going a mile on dirt here for the what's the name of this race? The Parx Dirt Mile. That makes a lot of sense. Next one we'll go out to. We're going to stick with you, Jackson. We're going to go to the 3 Duke of Gloucester. I probably pronounced that wrong. Go ahead and take it away with this one.
Yeah, he's just in good form, right? I mean, he's won 3 of his last 4. The one race he lost was the one time they tried to go forward with him. So when he's been rated off the pace, he's won his last 3 starts. He won all 3 very, very easily too. If you're a fan of this horse, you're probably hoping that they just fly on the front end and it kind of falls apart. Now that might play into the hands of other horses in this race that are also closers, but I do think he's obviously, razor sharp right now. He might not be this good, but he could get a setup. So he'd be one I would think about using as well.
He could definitely get a setup. That last ride, not the last ride, 2-back ride, a little puzzling how he was kind of pressing the pace when it's not really his style. So I do wonder if maybe he gets back to kind of that off the pace type. enough from you, Jackson. We're going to go with the 4 Dilger for Kaylee and myself. We're both going too deep in this leg, but we're both using the 4. Kaylee, the Saratoga runners have been really strong racing elsewhere since the summer meet, and that's kind of what played into a lot of this. This one gets around 2 turns for the first time since the spring at Keeneland. What did you like about this effort or this runner?
Well, I like the fact that Irad Ortiz stays aboard after riding this horse up in Saratoga. The horse has really good speed, obviously going a mile again today. Went that distance last time out, got a 94, which was the horse's career best figure to this date. Not just going based on figures, you can see that the horse has the ability to pass horses. So while he does have good speed, he can also rate. I just liked his chances here, certainly from a figures perspective. This was something that I went 4 deep originally, and I actually had the 1 and the 3 as well. And then I started trying to just, eliminate and get the ticket cost down. So I just ended up on, the 2 most likely winners that I think. Irad, obviously, very attractive option with the number 4. And like you said, the Saratoga runners have been running well since. And this horse was running against some pretty nice horses up in Saratoga as well.
Yeah, no doubt. This horse has been running against really nice company. And again, I think the stretch out is, I anticipate him appreciating that. Something that's always puzzled me about this horse is why we haven't really seen him on dirt since way earlier in his career. I mean, he's by Lope de Vega, but that's a different conversation. Those last 2 efforts are very competitive in here. If he can stretch that around 2 turns, he should sit a very nice trip. And then you mentioned, Kaylee, the addition of Irad, or the retaining of Irad Ortiz, is always a plus. Jackson, back out to you. Previous Saffie Joseph trainee in Catalytic, now in the barn of Antonio Sano. You like this one as well?
Yeah, just another that's in good form, has numbers that make sense. He's kind of been a bit of a hanger really all year. He's only crossed the wire first once. He's been finishing second 4 times, and he's been close a bunch of times. But this time, I think he's going to finally be at price. All those races, he was odds on favorite. He's going to be at least 5-1, I would think, against the likes of these. So I would use him a little bit. Again, it's not a race I have a lot of confidence in, so just trying to spread as much as I can.
There we go. One of the spread horses was not the number 6 in concealed carry. So
Main speed, no one has.
Hey, yeah, lone speed might take him all the way in this mile effort, but hopefully not. The 7 Farmo Power is cross-entered into tomorrow into a state-bred stake race that they are going. Not sure which one he's going to end up in, but if he does end up in here, I do think Farmo Power has a shot. I like his efforts at Parx. Obviously, 10 wins in the 25 starts he has here, so he definitely loves the grounds. He appreciates the mile distance, especially that last effort. I know he lost to a horse in Awfully Cool on their other kind of prep day for today. However, I thought that was a good effort, and I thought if he can, maybe take a little bit of a step forward. I know he's a 7-year-old, so might be hoping against, to see some improvement as an old horse here, but I do think he has a little bit left in the tank. He's shown in his last 4 that he still has plenty of run in him. And Paco Lopez at Parx, you can never discount. So I thought 9-2 is a fair price. So I'll go 4-7 in this leg. Kaylee, we're going to go back out to you in the number 8 Coastal Mission, a very hard trying horse who always seems to run a really good effort.
Definitely. And just a quick note on the 7, I mean, his career best effort looks like it was the Parx Dirt Mile back in 2022. So that's certainly pretty interesting. I mean, the only triple digit figure was then. But yeah, sort of my strategy going in here, I thought it could be a wide open race, but a lot of horses were switching off of Lasix that hadn't really run well without Lasix before. Coastal Mission is one of those horses that no matter really what the setup this horse gets, he kind of makes his own trip. I mean, he's won in gate to wire fashion. He's won from off the pace. He's a pretty true and honest horse. If you look at the figures, obviously last time out in the Stymie, got a 78 as the heavy favorite. Don't love that day, but a lot of those horses ran back really well coming out of that race that finished in 1st and 2nd. And I think this horse is pretty versatile and one I just did not want to leave off my ticket whatsoever.
Yeah, very versatile type coming in off a bit of a layoff. But I do like the works coming in here, especially that most recent work on September the 9th, going 47 in 4 furlongs. Coastal Mission, kind of the that post time type of horse where he always just kind of runs his race. He's always in a good position for himself. So he's one that maybe scares me a little bit. I just thought 3-1, maybe a little too low because I'm going to get a little skinny elsewhere. But this is certainly one that would probably be the first edition on if Farmo Power were to scratch. Jackson, anything to add on the 8 Coastal Mission?
Yeah, I mean, we probably should have started with him when we were talking about this race. He's way the horse to beat. You look at his back class, back numbers; they're just better than what he's facing in here. The concern is the last time he was seen, obviously, he didn't run that great, and then there was the big layoff since then. So it's just a matter of is he still the same horse? Because look at some of the form lines he ran, and specifically the Cigar Mile, and he was 4th behind Locked, Mulligan, and Post Time. And those horses are way better than this field. So it's just a matter of which version of him we get. If the real version shows up, 3-1 is going to seem awfully enticing, and if he's more of what we saw in March, then going to feel pretty dumb when he runs up the track at 2-1.
Yeah, maybe. Those are all the horses that we'll talk about. The 9, the 6, and the 2 we did not talk about. Those are 2 20-1 shots, and the 6 I believe is 15-1. So in case you just feel like fading us completely, go 2, 6, 9 in the first leg. But I will be going 4, 7. Jackson will be going 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, and Kaylee will be going 4, 8. We'll move on now to race number 12. It is the 6 furlong Grade 2 Gallant Bob Stakes. And, we have a pretty universal top pick in here. It's going to be our single. We're going 6 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. We are all singling the horse coming out of the H. Allen Jerkins. That is the West Coast trained Barnes for Bob Baffert, Tyler Gaffleone booked to ride, who's been riding a lot for Baffert recently. And by a lot, I mean twice, but that's still 2 times more than I can ever remember him riding in the past. So Barnes off that last effort in the H. Allen Jerkins. Again, who he faced in Captain Cook and Patch Adams, they'd both be 1-9 in here. I don't think 2-1 is a even remotely close price. I would even say 1-2 wouldn't be the price that we're going to get on Barnes.
You can change that 1 to a 5, and that'll be more accurate.
Yeah. Exactly. You can go 1-5 on Barnes, I think is going to be the price that you'll get. Probably 1-9, 1-20 in every other horizontal that you play. But I mean, look, Barnes looks like an overlay. Does anyone have anything to add? We will touch on a couple of the runners in this race just because I feel like we should.
No, not really. Oh, sorry.
No,
I mean, Barnes is just like, he towers over this field. I mean, if you were looking for a single in the sequence, this was like my most sure shot. I mean, I believe that he's a better horse than Donut God, and he's a better horse than the other one. What's the other one's name? Sorry. Donut God and the horse and Neo Equus as well, who Neo Equus is probably the one horse in here that would scare me against Barnes just because he got that outside post. But if you think about it, no one's ever run anything close to what Barnes has run. I thought that he ran a really good race in the H. Allen Jerkins. Like you said, Ryan, he was up against a really tough field. I mean, it's a Grade 1 at Saratoga. And then, I mean, the race that really sticks out to me is when he finished second to journalism in the San Felipe as well. I think that he's the speed of the speed in here, and he doesn't even have to go out in front. He can rate. So certainly jumps off the page to me, at least.
Yeah, same here. Jackson, anything?
I will say I find his race placement a little weird for him. Obviously with the Saratoga at the Grade 1, took him all the way back to California. Now they're coming back to Parx. I wasn't quite sure what to make of that. They could have just ran him at San Anita in the Sprint Championship. And I also wonder if they're still trying to figure out which distance he actually really wants. Obviously, he's run very well, 8.5. He's run well going 7 before. They thought he was a Derby horse at one point. Now that they're running for it, I believe today's 6 furlongs. So just a little interesting. If you're not, huge believer in this horse, there's a couple things to be worried about, I guess you could say.
I will say to that point, I feel like Bob, for one this year, I feel like he's shipped a lot more than he has in the past. Like even going back to, the last couple of years, I can't remember him shipping certainly to Parx other than, for the Pennsylvania Derby. But he obviously has a runner goal-oriented in the PA Derby that we'll talk about in a little bit. So I feel like this might have been his plane buddy, and they might have just thought like, hey, he might like to sprint. I don't know. I might be grasping at straws a little bit here. That's kind of my thought is that, maybe he needed a buddy on the plane. And this race does fit for Barnes. He's going to be a very short price, but it might be a good confidence builder to get him back in the winner's circle because he hasn't seen the winner's circle since early January.
And now that I think about it, I think this race is worth more money than the San Anita race. And you're not going to be facing straight no chaser, right? You're going to be 2-5 in this race rather than being second or third choice against.
That's exactly it. I think he's placing the horse, where he's going to win.
Right.
And here his biggest threat is Neo Equus. So, I mean, the one concern I don't know the rider dynamics. Obviously, I don't want to go too far into that, but obviously Neo Equus is the only horse I'm scared of here, but not really. I mean, the horse would have to take a huge step up.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I don't believe Neo Equus is quite to the class level of Barnes and some others. Horse that I thought was the most interesting was Donut God. I don't really know what to do with him because he's just been up on slow paces and he hasn't. I mean, he's won the 2 that he's been up on the front, and then he lost the one last time out behind Neo Equus in the Jersey Shore in mid-July. But he hasn't been to the track a whole lot. It kind of seems like this might be just kind of another stepping stone on a path, maybe towards a good 4-year-old campaign. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to, I'm a little bit scared of him, but I do feel like Barnes is just far and away the horse to beat because he has shown that he's able to pass some horses, win up on the lead, or be successful up on the lead, I should say. So I guess last one we'll talk about. Jackson, I got to go to you. We're familiar with the rail horse in Retribution. One for us in the Chick Lang at a nice price during one of our, I think it was a Pacific Horse Players show, maybe. I don't know what show that was that we did. But we covered this one. Retribution won last time out at Parx. I don't even know the abbreviation for that. But it was a Parx Stakes race. Jackson, any thoughts on Retribution, or Kaylee, any thoughts on the one horse?
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to get a good trip in here, right? He's probably going to be tucked in not too far from the speed and could get first jump on the deeper closers. I don't love that he seems to have taken a step backward last time. I know the race came in the mud and everything. And the Maxfield number, I think that number is a little suspect, obviously. Smoking Wicked and Captain Cook came out of there to run way better than the speed of figure they got indicates. So it just depends. Is he going to take a step forward from what we saw 2 and 3 back, or is he going to be more of the horse we saw last time? Either way, I think he still has to take a significant step forward to get to Flags and Barnes.
I agree. Barnes looks like far and away the most likely winner in the sequence. So one more time for race number 12, the Gallant Bob Stakes. We're all going Barnes. And we'll move on now to race number 13. Race number 13 is the Grade 1 Cotillion, and this race and the PA Derby are just fantastic races. Shout out to the Parx and their racing office for getting these fields. These have to be, Jackson, we were talking in the HHH group chat. These have to be 2 of the best fields that they've ever gotten for this race, and certainly the best, I think, in back-to-back races on the same day in terms of the field. We'll start with the Grade 1 Cotillion, where I'm going to have a single of the number 3. Jackson is going 3-7-8. Kaylee is going 1-2-7. We'll probably talk about all the runners in this field just because it is a Grade 1, and all of these runners have a very viable shot at winning this race. So, Kaylee, we're going to start with you, the number 1 Scottish Lassie.
Yeah, this horse was a must-use on my ticket. I'm not trying to fade her at 9-5. I know it's a pretty short price. Hopefully she floats up a little bit, but she's going 1 1/16. I mean, to me, the horse ran away going 1 1/8 in the Coaching Club American Oaks, put away Immersive that day. And Immersive, I mean, is running here on Saturday at Churchill. Curious what time the race goes off because it'll be interesting to see how Immersive runs coming out of that. But Scottish Lassie, I don't really believe that was a fluke in the Coaching Club American Oaks. I mean, she ran a really good race in the Acorn, and the Frizette always stood out to me a ton. So she's a horse that honestly strikes me. I know she won running away in the Coaching Club American Oaks, but I'd imagine 1 1/16 is going to hit her right in between the eyes. And to me, I mean, she has really good speed, obviously a great jockey aboard who stays up after that race in Saratoga. So she was a must use for me, trying to protect her. I don't think she's a sure shot to win, and that's why I used 3 horses here. But the 3 I used are the 3 win contenders, I believe. But yeah, I think she's rounding into pretty good form as well.
Yeah, I think those are some good points. Obviously, that last effort, if she repeats that, every horse is running for second off that dazzling performance at Saratoga. That was a weird 4-horse field. She was she was the lone speed in there. She kind of had everything her own way. You do have the presence of Lacara in here, so I didn't want to take her, at another short price because I do think Lacara's only way to go is to go forward. And while Scottish Lassie's had success from off the pace, I worry that maybe from the one post that hand is a little bit forced. So that's the only reason I didn't want to use her at 9-5. But she's certainly a horse that could repeat that effort at Saratoga, and they're all running for second. And I think that 99 Beyer speed figure would make her already a major threat in the distaff division versus the Olders at Del Mar later on this year. Kaylee, we'll stick with you, though. We're going to go right to this one's outside to Lacara. Last ran in the Alabama when losing to Nitrogen at 1 1/4. Cuts back here to the 1 1/16, where she did have a win in the Grade 1 Ashland Stakes earlier this year at Keeneland. What do you like about her?
I mean, there's not a knock on this horse whatsoever. I really can't look for one. She has great speed, and if she has a comfortable lead, she gets away. Obviously, last time out in the Alabama, she kind of set it up for her stablemate in some type of way. I don't know if that was the intention that day, but that is kind of how it played out. But cutting back to a mile and a 16th, I mean, this horse, that's her distance. Look at the Ashland. She ran a big race that day. Might not be her highest figures wise, but visually very impressive. And I think that this is another one that I just could not leave off my ticket. She's 7-2. I know that there's some other speed in this race, but we see how this plays out often. I mean, I think her and Scottish Lassie are going to be up front with one another, and I'd imagine that Lacara is able to stick around going a mile and a 16th. If it was, any longer, I probably would leave her off my ticket and try to play against her, but I think she's pretty dangerous at this distance, so I wanted to use her.
She is dangerous, without a doubt. I don't know, just a little inconsistent for me, which is the only reason I didn't like her. But again, this is a very talented field, and top to bottom, you can make a very strong case for any of these horses. Jackson, anything to add on Lacara or on the rail runner Scottish Lassie?
I mean, I think we definitely need to talk about the pace of this race, because there's a chance this thing could really heat up. I mean, look, Scottish Lassie got the lead last time, doesn't necessarily need a lead, but she ran her best race by far when she was able to establish the front end. Lacara obviously has one way to go. Indy Bay is stretching out from stakes sprints. She's always poorly placed. Gotta imagine she'll be close in here too. And then Dry Powder, if you guys remember, was supposed to be forward in the coaching club American Oaks, was taken back to last for some reason, and Connections took the jockey off the next day. And then last time they put her close to lead again, she won. So I gotta imagine the plan with her is to go forward again in this spot too. So I'm not gonna be very surprised at all if this thing really heats up, and it could set it up for horse from off the pace.
I completely agree. The pace scenario in here is interesting, and it's ultimately what led me to pick in my top pick, the number 3 Clicquot. Brendan Walsh trains this one. Irad is booked to ride. Obviously, Irad was aboard for the 2 wins, going 2 and 3 back. This runner's had some time off since that race in July. But that race in July, Jackson, if you remember, I can't remember if we were on a show that day or if we were just talking about the races, but it was such a speed bias. They were setting track records left, right, and center on Indiana Oaks, Indiana Derby Day. And this horse was able to pass some runners and still draw off really nicely. She made the move at the right time, without a doubt. But since then, I think she can really take a step forward. She was favored that day. She's been favored in 3 of her 4 career starts. And now you're getting 8-1. I understand that the buyer speed figures are a little light, but she's had time off since mid-July and midsummer. I think she can definitely take a step forward, and she's going to sit that right kind of trip behind off the pace. Again, you get Irad at a great price, who's, easily the best jockey that's going to be at Parx, because he's, the second best jockey in the country, would be my argument. Jackson, you're laughing, but you also picked Clicquot as one of your 3 that you're using, so go ahead.
I'm using her. I'm a little worried she's becoming the wise guy, just based on everyone I've been listening to all week. A lot of people are picking this horse. I don't think we're going to gauge one, especially with Irad riding. But she is interesting. She's a little untested. I do think the Indiana Oaks kind of worked out for her, because the other main threat, Heavenly Sunset, I think pulled up. It was easy across the finish line, so that definitely helped her cause. But look, she's going the right way. She might get a good trip in here off the pace, and she's working really well too. So she's definitely a horse I'm interested in using.
She's working
really well. I thought a lot about her. I really did. I looked at her for a very long time, and I didn't want to go 4 deep. That's the only reason why I left her off. But, Irad taking them out, he's ridden her before, but that's certainly a concern in some type of way, coming in off a layoff. But, if she takes one step up, she can be right on par. I just left her off because I'm trying to, keep my ticket low. But and my one thing was that she's never faced the types of horses in here, but there's really no reason she can't take a step up.
Yeah. This 3-year-old filly division right now is wide open outside, I think, of Nitrogen. And even then, I would argue that, maybe she just stayed the best going that mile and a quarter. They didn't come home all that quick in the grade 1, was it the Alabama? In the grade 1 Alabama. The 4, Indy Bay, I don't believe is on any of our tickets. But this one we'll touch on shortly. Just won the Charlestown Oaks, going, I think that's 4 turns at Charlestown. No, I think it's just 2 turns, just 2 turns. 2 turns at Charlestown out of the bull ring. Won the Jersey Girl earlier in the summer as well up at Saratoga. This is one that I think could factor a little bit early, as Jackson mentioned, stretching out from the sprint to the route. She's always liked to be forward. I don't know that she can hang around late, but I will say she might be the one that kind of gets forgotten about a little bit. She's certainly bred to handle the 2 turns just fine, being by Take Charge Indy. So one that I thought maybe deserved an outside look, maybe kind of round out the exacta trifecta type of play for me. Number 5, not too late. Sonny Leone's on board. He won a Kentucky Derby. We got the number 6 in our Daydreaming Girl at 20-1 that nobody has. And now we'll go to Good Cheer. Number 7, 5-2 on the morning line, which I think is very generous. I'd be shocked if we got 5-2. I'd be shocked if she didn't go off as the post-time favorite. Jackson and Kaylee, you both used this runner in your pick 5s. Jackson, we'll stick it with you. You go first. What made you want to include Good Cheer?
I'm not as confident as you that she'll be favored in here. I think there'll be a lot of support for Scottish Lassie, and rightfully so. But I do think Good Cheer's the horse I probably will press up a little bit in here. 1, because of price, and 2, because I just think she's the most likely horse to get a good trip in this race. We talk about how much speed there could be in this field, and I just think it sets up for her. She's arguably the best horse in the race. The Alabama was kind of weird. She was a little bit more forward than she usually is, and I know that the 2 Cassie horses were technically together, but watching the head on, I mean, Lacara's on the rail. Nitrogen's in like the 8 path. I mean, they were not pressing each other at all because they were so far apart. So Nitrogen kind of had to run the race in there. I thought she ran fine to finish second. But I just think she's getting a much better setup than she did that day, and as well as in the Acorn as well, when it was kind of just a merry-go-round race in the slop. So I think she's going to finally get the right kind of trip. She's the one they're going to have to hold off late.
I get that. Is it fair to? Yeah, go ahead, Kaylee.
Honestly, I just want to say, I don't believe Nitrogen is the best 3-year-old. I still think Good Cheer is the best 3-year-old in the division. Like you said, it's pretty wide open. But to me, Good Cheer, I mean, if you look at her last 2 efforts, I mean, you can make excuses in the Acorn. She just did not fire that day whatsoever. There's not really an excuse to make. Like, she did not like the slop at Saratoga. I mean, even though she handled it at Churchill Downs, she didn't like it at Saratoga. That was just the case. And then in the Alabama, she was going 1.25 miles. Maybe she can't get 1.25 miles. I thought she ran on very well, and she ran the best race that day, in my opinion. I think that she ran a better race than Nitrogen, even though that she finished second. And now, she's cutting back to 1.16 miles. And look at when she was undefeated. It was when she was going 1.16 miles. And like you guys said, should set up pretty nicely for her. This is my top pick. If she's second choice, I'm hammering her. That's all I know.
That's fair. If she is second choice, she might get a little bit of money from me. I will say, though, I feel like she's kind of the horse that maybe hasn't quite gone forward as a 3-year-old. She's very consistent. She's one of the most, if not the most consistent 3-year-old that we have currently running, as I see Kaylee's looking over at the guest who's going to join us for the Pennsylvania Derby here in just a second. But to wrap it up on Good Cheer, I can't take the price that I'm going to get on her at the fact that she hasn't really stepped forward to make a huge step forward and a huge improvement. Last one we'll talk about is number 8, Dry Powder. We're getting a price again, Jackson. We cashed on this one in the Catherine Sophia. So go ahead and take it away. I
got to use her a little bit, just an emotional pick here. I thought she ran massive in the Wilton. That race, there were 3 across the track. She was always in between. The 2 other pace setters finished way up the track. They weren't close. And she ran huge that day to get just run down by Sweet Seraphine. Obviously, she didn't go lead in the Coaching Up American Oaks, had no shot. And then last time, over this track, which I do think is key, because not everyone handles this racetrack, but she ran really well here. She still needs to take another step forward, but she's going the right way. She led the race. I like the post. There's things to like about her.
There are things to like. One thing I didn't like was the fact that Luis Saez hopped off. I really liked that ride he gave her last time. Right. You get Antonio Fresi, though, who us on the West Coast, we really like him. So I'm going with 3 Clicquot as my single here. Jackson's going 3, 7, 8. Kaylee going 1, 2, 7. We're going to move on now to our feature event on the day. It's race number 14. That is absurd. It is the Pennsylvania Derby. We're going 1.125 miles for the 3-year-olds. Picks are up on the screen. I'm going 1, 8. Jackson singling the 9. Kaylee's going 6, 8, 9. And to kick us off, we're going to go to our special guest sitting next to Kaylee, Hall of Fame trainer and co-host of the Right or Wrong podcast found on Naira Bets. It's Nick Zito. Nick, welcome to the show.
Oh, I love it. How you guys doing?
Doing good. How you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great. I love Pennsylvania. You know why? When you guys were pups, as Bill Parcells would say, I won my first race in a place called Liberty Bell before you guys were born. That's in Pennsylvania, Liberty Bell. So I have fondness of Pennsylvania, and of course the Pennsylvania Derbies. We won them a few times, and great place, a great day. So happy to join you guys. Thank you for that.
Of course, we're thrilled to have you, and we'd love to start the conversation off with you. One, how was your summer up at Saratoga? And then take us right into the number 6 goal-oriented, who I understand might be your top pick for the race.
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, this young lady next to me rejuvenated me. This Right or Wrong podcast is unbelievable. And to be honest, I'm going strictly, well, actually, in every aspect of the game. I think Baffert's heating up now. I think his stable is getting ready to roll. And that's a dangerous cat, once they get going. And I love the way this horse is coming up to the race. Mm-hmm. He has a way of training these things. And, Baez is great. Brendan Walsh's horse is great. Those 3 are top. I even think Cherie might be third or fourth, whatever. But those 3 are absolutely top 3-year-olds. Mm-hmm. And they could race anywhere now in America. But I got to go with Baffert. I actually think that this horse is really, really primed for this particular event. So I'm just singling him. It's a Baffert play for me. A lot of times, all of a sudden, he strikes like thunder, as I call it, and boom, here comes this new monster 3-year-old that came out of nowhere, Well, then they say, well, he did run with journalists. Yeah. And he only got beat a few lengths to journalists, and he only did this. This is a typical Baffert move for MPZ.
Curious, Nick, your opinion on this, though, because we were talking earlier. Baffert has another horse, Barnes, Barnes running.
Sure, of course.
Running, and we all singled Barnes. And we were talking about, I wonder why this horse isn't staying to run in a race in California. Maybe they needed a buddy for the trip. Baffert's not the type to send someone as a...
Here's what happens with Baffert. So I'm guilty as charged. I'm a victim. I had plenty of horses that he brought up to Belmont Park in grade 1s or grade 2 races that I was second in. I could even name them to you. Woody Stevens in this race and that race. I was always second to him. So he likes, when he comes for a big event, he actually likes to bring a horse or 2 that he doesn't get shut out for the day. See what I mean? So Barnes is probably his
sure shot.
Yeah, not shutout day. You know what I mean? Baffert's cool. Let's face it. He's one of my favorites. And you could see it the way I'm speaking because I actually believe it. He's one of the best. That's it.
Absolutely one of the best.
Without a doubt. I've working this summer at Del Mar, I've been able to talk to him a lot more than I have in previous years, obviously being, a fan at the racetrack. He's one of the funnier guys that I'll meet at the racetrack. He's got a great sense of humor. Him and Jimmy Barnes, they joke around a lot, but obviously they mean business once their horses are in the paddock and getting saddled and going out there. They're really only saddled and getting out there to win. So it's a great point on Barnes. I do think that he's out here.
He's out. No, he's out there to win that race, and he's out there to represent them and to make sure that that they have a fun day.
Without a doubt. Nick, before we continue on the Pennsylvania Derby, do you have a top memory from this race or the Grade 1 Cotillion in years past that really sticks home to you?
Yeah, obviously, probably if you go back to the replay, guys, with Morning Line, I was one of my Pennsylvania Derby winners. John Velasquez, vintage Velasquez, and I think Dale Romans and Robbie Alvarado to this day are still sick about that ride. It was amazing. And that year we had finished in so many grade 1s, guys. And, it was so gratifying because I remember going back to the receiving barn and I said, they said, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to get some holy water now. I'm going to get some holy water and drink some holy water because I felt like it was a spiritual thing. But cool place. And, they have a big thing that day with their old timers. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but they take like the older guys that did well in Pennsylvania, whether they're trainer, jockeys, whatever, and they invite them upstairs and they treat them nice. So it's so that was for me. That was a pretty good day. Yeah, I had a couple of good days. Obviously, Sun King. I actually wasn't there that day, but the replay was sensational. But I was there with Morning Line, and that was pretty special for me.
I got to ask you about Morning Line because I do remember him when he came out to California the next year, and I remember I was at Hollywood Park, and they took like 25 minutes getting him to the starting gate because he refused to go, and it was a complete mess. I think he ended up winning. Was he like a head case when you had him too?
he got to be. You're very sharp. You're very sharp for bringing that out. Very astute. I don't know what happens to horses. They're like people. I don't know. You can't get in their minds, but there's no question horses do change. I don't know why he did that, but he started giving me problems. Yes, training after that. But John Sheriff's did it. Was it John Sheriff's? I believe had him in the end of his career. He did a fantastic job with him.
Yeah,
he did. But Morning Line was a cool horse, and the Pennsylvania Derby, that was great. And then, believe it or not, we came back and we sprinted him into Grade 1 at a time. I believe it was a Grade 1 to Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And he won that race, the 7-8. So all that stuff is it's cool, and it's really cool. So
that is really cool.
I liked both their names, Ryan and Jackson.
Yeah,
that's us. And while we're reliving Morning Line's victory, why don't we watch the stretch run?
Yeah, here we go.
As they come home.
A little
here.
warm. On the inside, it's Morning Line, and they come off the turn together. And now a Little Warm has the lead. First two backs out of there. One furlong to go. A little warm a half length. Morning Line is dead game and fights on the inside. First two try to come on again. A little warm on the outside. Morning Line down at the rail. A dramatic finish in the Pennsylvania Derby. It's Morning Line. Morning Line has won it.
Was that cool or what? Was that
horses
cool?
Don't get more game than that, right?
Was that cool? I mean, for me, I had to go get some holy water. I had to. Right, Jackson, right? I had to find some holy water somewhere.
100%.
Yeah.
I can completely understand why. This has been fantastic to be joined by a legend of the game like you.
Well, thank you so much. So. Listen, why don't you guys? This is some handicapper right here. We got. You guys know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Woo, she knows her stuff. So
she had the hottest summer of any of the three of us. She was posting pick 5 and pick 6 tickets left and right at Saratoga, and they were just cash. So we.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, listen, God bless you guys. Have a great Pennsylvania Derby. You guys do great work, and you're two of my favorites. She told me. I was so happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Take care, and hope to see you soon, whether it's out in Keeneland or up in New York.
That'd be wonderful. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
You as well. Absolute legend of the game, and Nick Zito. Kaylee, thank you for getting him to join us. That was fantastic, and obviously getting to relive Morning Line's 2010 Pennsylvania Derby victory. Jackson, great pull really from your brain there to remember what a head case that horse was.
Well, it was random thing. I was like 12 years old. I remember that because it took forever to get into the gate. I'm like, what is going on? And they finally get him in, and he still won.
Yeah.
They really do it.
He's a cool horse.
Yeah. He was a very cool horse. It takes a real racehorse to fight back like that. And now to get on to some other really cool racehorses we're going to talk about. Kaylee, you used the number 6 goal oriented. We heard Nick Zito sell us on why he's going to be using him. Why are you attracted to goal oriented and including him on your tickets?
Well, I'm going to second everything that Nick said about the Baffert himself. But to speak about the horse, I mean, he's improving. I think that he's an improving horse. We saw that last time out in the Haskell. I thought he ran a really good race that day, and he's one that I didn't want to leave off my ticket. I mean, Baffert thinks it's appropriate to bring this horse to the Pennsylvania Derby. This is this horse's last shot at a Grade 1 this year, and he looks dangerous, and he's a horse that also is able to rate. So to me, I mean, he can win in a couple different ways, and he's one I didn't want to leave off my ticket.
Yeah, I can't dispute too much about that. I do think that he's a very nice horse, and he could certainly win here. I mean, yeah, we're going to look at all the common running lines here as we go through the race, but you're going to see journalism, you're going to see sovereignty a lot in these running lines here. So let's talk about your morning line favorite, who, I mean, through the first 6-7 months of this year, you could say that the top 3-year-olds were Sovereignty, Journalism, Baeza in that order, kind of undisputed, maybe up until the Haskell Stakes when Gosger came onto the scene, when Goal Oriented ran a really good race, both of them losing to, of course, Journalism. Now they all kind of look on the same level. We haven't seen Baeza since he ran second behind Jim Dandy, or behind Sovereignty in the Jim Dandy. So let's start the conversation with Baeza. Jackson, you're not using this horse in your tickets, so we're going to start the conversation with you.
It's just more I didn't want to double up with. I think Oscar could be bet down from 4-1, and I didn't want to use him and Baeza as a short price. It's just from a ticket structure standpoint. But look, he's the horse to beat. There's no doubt about that. He's run consecutive 100+ buyer figures 4 races in a row. I mean, I don't think any of us are questioning that Sovereignty is by far the best 3-year-old right now. He just lost him by length, and just based on that alone, you're probably supposed to like him quite a bit. At the end of the day, it was just a price thing. I just didn't want to use multiple horses. I respect that out of him. I'm not going to be surprised at all if he runs awfully well in here, but I'm also curious to see how they ride him, because it looks like there's a good amount of speed in here. And I know last time they were working to get him more into the race, but now it probably seems like they're going to have to be becoming further off the pace like he was in the Belmont and in the Kentucky Derby. So I'd be curious to see how Hector rides his horse. I'm
curious about how he's going to get ridden too, but not for the same reasons you are. He's finally not running behind Sovereignty or Journalism. So he's, you know, I understand against Journalism that was so far long ago in the Santa Anita Derby, obviously the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont as well. But in those, you're also running behind a horse like Sovereignty, who kind of, you know, he's head and shoulders above what the rest of these 3-year-olds are at this point. So I wonder if, you know, last race, Jackson, we spoke about the fact that Baeza was ridden as well as you can ride a horse to try and take Sovereignty off his game the best he can, and then to still give Baeza the best shot to win. I love the ride by Hector. He just wasn't as good that day. And obviously, yeah, again, he's running behind Sovereignty. But he's finally not meeting any of those monsters. He's meeting horses that are all along pretty much the same playing field or under his ability from what he's shown in his previous 3 or 4 races. So I'm curious if maybe he's, you know, he can kind of be placed wherever. I will say Hector has had him more involved in the races early than was the case when Flavien Prat was aboard. But he fired his best race pretty much every single time he stepped on the track, outside of that debut effort, which was going a mile on turf for some unknown reason. So yeah, Baeza, I think, has a strong chance. Certainly one that I am going to be playing along with the rail horse, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Kaylee, anything to add on the number 8 Baeza?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was really tempted to actually single Baeza, and then I was just like, oh, I don't really have to, because I already went a little skinny in some other legs, and obviously we all singled Barnes. But Baeza, to me, I mean, if you look at all the horses that have run against Sovereignty, like, let's face it, you know, Magnitude was absolutely gutted. I don't know if that horse will be the same really after that race. And then Moplex, he really destroyed. Baeza was the horse that held a torch closest to Sovereignty out of really anyone. I thought that he showed a lot of heart in the Jim Dandy, and the horse tried really hard and he wasn't discouraged. And that, to me, I really like coming into this. I mean, the horse has been nothing but consistent, finishing second to Sovereignty or third to Sovereignty in Journalism. So to me, he's the best horse in the race. If Goal Oriented is able to take, you know, a little bit of a step up, that's why I have him on my ticket as well. And Gosker's dangerous because he's also an improving horse. But if I was going to single anyone, it would be Baeza. I think this horse can sit a multitude of trips. I'd imagine that they're going to want to be mid-pack here. They're not going to want to be too close. And I think that he's going to have a good shot that way. And I like that, you know, he still has his regular jockey as well. Obviously, Flavien Prat is one of the best jockeys in the world, but, you know, maybe Hector Barrios and Baeza really get along. I thought that he gave him a really good ride in the Jim Dandy, and I think that he can get the job done on Saturday.
Yeah, I certainly hope he gets the job done. Jackson doesn't. Jackson is going with the horse just to this one's outside. Also on your ticket, Kaylee, is the number 9 Gosger. Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll single him. Honestly, he's done nothing but improve. All 3 starts. He's getting better and better and better and better. And, you know, obviously Walsh has been targeting these races after the election. Okay, we're going to wait for Brignis for peak effort. And then we're going to wait for Haskell for peak effort. And I think after that last recent race, they're like, okay, we're going to go to Parx and avoid the Sovereignties and Journalisms of the world. And clearly they've done a good job of that. And I just think he's going to get a really good setup in here. He's training well. You know, he got outworked by David of Athens on the 12th. And that was a bit of concern for me. I went back and watched his works from before the Haskell. He was getting outworked by starter allowance horses before the Haskell too. So I think at this point he's not a great workhorse. And I think I read an article where she even mentioned as much, like, he's just not a good workhorse. He's actually getting a little bit better in the morning. So that's not going to be a concern for me. He's going to get a good trip in here, whether he's fourthly placed or comes from mid-pack as he did in the Haskell. And I just think there's plenty to like about him. I don't, you know, I'm starting to think he might be lower than goal-oriented, just based on what I've been hearing from people. But I think if you're going to take a stand against the favorite, I do prefer Gosker just a little bit.
I get the love on Gosker. I do. Kaylee, anything to add before I add my at piece and then talk about the rail runner?
I mean, he's an improving horse, just like goal-oriented. They're both pretty lightly raced, and there's not too many knocks on either of these horses. That's why I have him on my ticket. Obviously, really good speed. The only horse that draws to his outside is Plex, so he should be able to get a good position up front as well. And I'd imagine that he's a horse that's going to be able to take another step up. If you look at each of his starts, he does nothing but improve. And, they've been circling these races since he won the Lexington, that they were planning, obviously, to run him in the Preakness. And he needs a grade 1. And this is one that very much fits for him, certainly figures wise. I'm curious to see the trip he's going to sit, because there is some other speed. Maybe that's why I'm not as bullish on him, but I used him on my ticket because, like I said, these three, goal-oriented, Gosker, and they're the three best horses in the race. I didn't really want to get too cute here. I think they have a clear separation between them and the others.
No doubt. We're going to learn a lot in this race, in my opinion, if assuming goal-oriented, Baeza and Gosger get into the starting gate as they're all, projected to be. They all look like they're doing really well. So obviously hope this field holds together in its entirety. I think we're going to learn a lot about who has the most heart of those three. I do think it's pretty much a 3-horse race between those three. With the resume that they've built, they're all relatively lightly raced, but they've kind of passed every test. I can't fault any horses for losing to journalism or losing to sovereignty. The reason I kind of went with Baeza over goal-oriented and over Gosger is that Baeza has faced sovereignty before, and he hasn't thrown in the towel when he's gotten past. And not to say, I don't really blame any horses that have thrown in the towel. I mean, he's kind of that kind of horse that just almost dismisses everybody that he runs by. Jackson, you and I tried to pick against him in the Travers. I can't say that he's not by far the best 3-year-old that I've seen in quite some time anymore. Come Breeders' Cup Classic, we'll have a different conversation. But for right now, Baeza.
Who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat him, though?
That Japanese horse, Forever Young, looks pretty good. But we'll get to that. We got a whole Breeders' Cup show coming later. So we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, because I know we could for another hour or more into there. But I'm really looking forward to that one, because it's going to be an absolute showdown of a classic. But to stick on the Pennsylvania Derby, I went with Baeza just because he has faced those horses before, and he hasn't really thrown in the towel. He's always kind of fought. So I want to see him fight on, and I love my West Coast horses. So I want to see him kind of get the job done over goal-oriented and Gosger, who are very nice in their own right.
I think that Baez is actually probably better at 1 mile and an eighth as well. I remember saying that after, watching him in the Jim Dandy. So we'll see if that's true. I just thought maybe he's better at 1 mile and an eighth last time, the effort that he put in. But that's just another point. I think he's pretty dangerous here.
Definitely.
Let me ask you guys this.
Yeah.
Who do you think makes the lead?
Oh,
question.
This horse.
Yeah.
I mean, he has one way to go. It's magnitude. I think he has to go. I think there's other horses that are going to send. I really think David of Athens, his main reason for being in this race is to get forward, because Gosser kind of likes to come from off the pace, and I think this is going to help inject some pace into the race.
Mm-hmm.
Happily delusional
underneath David of
Athens. Yeah. I think David of Athens. Nyquist are really good at 1 mile and an eighth. I question them going any farther, but I think the 9 furlongs really fits. Goal-oriented, we know, can be forward, although I don't think he's going to be up on the pace. Same with Big Truz, same with Baeza, same with Gosger. I'd say Plex from the outside is probably the other horse that probably is going to have to get some forward position out of the gate, but I'd be pretty surprised if going into the first turn Magnitude did not have a lead, whether that was contested or alone. And if he's got an open length lead, that might concern me a little bit.
He'll stop after 1 mile again.
Really?
Not to be rude.
I love the confidence there.
He didn't even make it to a mile. He made it about 6 furlongs.
Yeah, he made it about 6 furlongs against Sovereignty and then threw it in. Last horse I want to talk about is the rail horse. So Sandy, Cherie DeVoe trains this runner. Kendrick Carmouche is going to be aboard for the first time. This runner's come along really, really nicely. Kaylee's laptop might have just died, but she will join us again from her phone. So we'll let that get sorted out as we've been going here for about 51 minutes. Look, so Sandy, huge long shot, obviously, and I think this horse is going to be somewhere in that 15-1 range. But Cherie DeVoe has brought this horse along really nicely. You get a first time versus winners, 2 back at Churchill, going the 9 furlongs. Won that convincingly enough. Again, not the strongest field. Comes back in the Curlin. No real excuse why he lost that race. But I'm willing to forgive it just because he did run that similar number again. And Cherie has been known to kind of progress her horses, very what's the word I'm looking for? In a not aggressive manner. So she brings them along. She points towards these races. And I think this is one that has kind of been circled on her calendar. I don't know that So Sandy can win, but I'm skinny enough elsewhere in my tickets that I think I can throw this horse in and just kind of hope for the best. As Kaylee's going to join us once again. Her laptop died, but no worries. We have cell phones for a reason. So Kaylee, welcome back. Just talking about So Sandy very quickly. And about how I want to give this horse maybe one more chance to upset things at a price, but Baeza definitely my top pick in here, as he is one of the more likely winners.
Absolutely. I thought So Sandy was pretty interesting as well. I didn't put him in my top 4, but I won't be surprised if he runs a good race. I just, have a bit of questions maybe about the field he faced last time out. It's a big step up, but I wouldn't be shocked if he runs a good race. Yeah.
Huge step up without a doubt, but at least I'm getting a solid 15-1 on the morning line, hopefully somewhere around that come post time. Wrapping up the Pennsylvania Derby, I'm going 1-8. Jackson singling the 9. Kaylee going 6-8-9. We'll move on now to race number 15. If you think this show is going for a while, just wait till they run race number 15 at Parx. It's still a stakes race. We're going 6.5 furlongs. It's the Parx Sprint for $150,000. Picture up on the screen. I went 1-4-8. Jackson with, I think, his 3rd or 4th single of the sequence in the 11. Oh. And Kaylee going 1-3-9-11. We're going to start with Kaylee. We'll go – actually, yeah, we'll start with we're going to start with Jackson for his single for the number 11. We'll work our way down. Damon's Mound, a horse that I gave a close look to. Jackson, you like this horse enough to single. Go ahead.
I'm a little worried that Kaylee didn't single this horse too. I was kind of hoping she would.
I was literally going to. That's the funny part.
It concerns me a little bit, but look, I think his last 2 races, both at Saratoga, both against arguably better, especially race 2 back, he was just stuck on the rail. He had one way to go, and neither of those races worked out. But they were both fast paces. I ran okay in each of them. But now he's in a race, softer spot. He's drawn way more comfortably on the outside. Still could be the speed of the speed if they so choose to. The difference is this time they have options, right? If he doesn't break that well, if someone really, really wants to go towards the inside, he can just sit right off of them and just get that outside stalking trip we see work so often in these dirt sprints. So I think he's the fastest horse in the race. I think he's going to get a really good trip in here. And I just wasn't really in love with anything else either. I mean, look through the rest of this field. I'm like, yeah, this horse is okay. This horse is okay. I didn't want to double up or triple up with other horses I wasn't completely sold on. So I'd rather just go with the horse I think is the most likely winner and just single him and press it up a little bit.
That's fair. I have nothing to push back on too much. Obviously 2 back, you lose to a horse like Bookham Dano. Kaylee, you used this horse as well. You did not single. You went 4 deep in here. What'd you like about Damon's Mound?
Yeah, honestly, as we get closer, I mean, if I had to single another horse in the sequence, it probably wouldn't even be Baeza. It would probably be this horse. I agree with Jackson on all the points that he made. I think that this horse is going to work out a pretty good trip. And like you said, I mean, the last effort, maybe not the best, but if you look at everything before that, he's a notch above the field. I viewed the possibility of maybe it being a little wide open. There's some sneaky horses in here that I just wanted to include as well, which is why I didn't end up singling, but not too much to add. He's way the horse to beat in here for sure.
I do think he's the horse to beat. I don't doubt that. I question, I don't know. I just wanted to go elsewhere, really. I didn't question too much. He's a very capable horse. He drew really nice to the outside. He should sit a very nice trip. Maybe I'm a fool for leaving him off my ticket. Maybe I'll toss him on with the single of Quico. My ticket's not going to be too expensive. He's one that was kind of on the outside looking in when I was finalizing my ticket, but one I definitely respect the ability of. We'll go now to the number 9, Bucarino. We'll stick with you, Kaylee, as this is one of the others you decided to use. Very consistent horse, especially on dirt.
Yeah, very consistent horse, and also a horse that's very familiar with Parx. So I kind of wanted to cover all my bases here, and this was one that I looked at. I mean, if speed figures wise, there's not too much differentiation between this one and the 11. The 11 should work out a better trip for sure, and connections you might take maybe more seriously, but Paco Lopez always rides pretty well at Parx, and also this horse clearly likes Parx. So he's one that's in good form and one that I wanted to include as well.
Yeah, I think my feelings on Paco are pretty widely known. If they're not, I don't like him, but he rides well. And yes, he did just win the riding title at Colonial. I believe he won it at Monmouth as well. He's obviously a very high-end rider up at Parx. He rides everywhere. He's probably the leading rider at Parx too. I haven't checked the stats, but seeing 83 wins, I can't imagine someone has more than Paco up at Parx. So good for him and everything like that. He rides very well. Bookham Dano, he is obviously his best mount. He rides that horse wonderfully, but he has these horses in the right position. And when he gets along well with a horse, he is a very great horseman in that aspect. So I do like Bucarino in your ticket here, Kaylee. I think is a very capable horse and could certainly, I wouldn't even say take a step up, but rather, beat this company as he's facing a lot of common opponents that he's faced in the past.
For sure. And I'd imagine he might float up too. 4-1's a pretty good price. So
he definitely could. I'm going to talk quickly about Carmel Chip, as I thought this one was a bit interesting just because I feel like the pace could get really hot in here. And I feel like if it does, it definitely has the ability to melt down here in the later phases. And Carmel Chip, he's kind of always been close. He's never been like the most consistent horse to kind of get the job done, as I am watching nobody pass Luis Saez in the stretch. Churchill Downs, bang. All right. And now I can focus on what I'm talking about. Carmel Chip, look, this race is going 6.5. This race was the flat 6. I don't know that I would use this runner, but the 6.5 I think really fits. I think there's a lot of horses that want to go forward. I think Bucarino, your pick, is one of them. Damon's Mound is obviously going to be aggressive from the outside, getting some position. There's a horse even just to the inside as I accidentally scroll, and Bernie's Mitt, who has been tactical but has some early speed, especially if you look at the time form. So Carmel Chip is just one I wanted to give one more chance to. Chased a slow pace last time, but still ran on okay when losing to Bucarino. Gets Antonio Fresu, which I think is a reasonable jockey upgrade from Samuel from Marin. I forget his first name. I think it's Samuel. But either way, this is a capable horse. He's familiar with Parx as well, never being out of the exacta in 2 tries. So I want to give him a look. As we scroll down, we see Bernie's Mitts. We see Bump and Run. We see the number 5, Maximus Meridius, a horse that we're very familiar with out in New York as well. As we've covered that horse a couple times. 24 Mamba. I thought this horse was maybe a little bit intriguing, but I didn't think too highly of him, I guess. And next, we'll talk about the number 3, Hold My Bourbon, horse that you are using, Kaylee, in your tickets. Safi Joseph, Tyler Gaffleone teaming up, coming out of the 7 furlong Grade 1 Forgo Stakes last out.
another one that just fits figures wise if you toss out his last effort. I mean, you can't really hold him, be too tough on him for his effort in a grade 1 last time out, and certainly a really good field that day and everything that he had done prior. I thought that the horse is pretty competitive. My one concern obviously is running without Lasix. I don't know if that's the thing for the horse, but I wanted to take a shot. I have room on my ticket. Maybe he's one I toss out, on race day, but if this horse floats up and he could be a price here. I like obviously 2 back that effort. So I think the horse could potentially sit a nice trip. Just another one I wanted to include, kind of price hunting in the last leg here.
Yeah, that 2 back effort was really impressive. Go ahead, Jackson.
This was the other horse I was thinking about using in 2024 and 2025. He has 1 bad race in both those years that are just so much worse than everything else he's done, and both came without Lasix. That was the big concern.
Yeah.
But if that's not the reason, he's very, very logical in here. Yeah, it's just too much of a concern for me.
He is. Thank you for bringing that up. That was also my one kind of cause for pause, was that for such a consistent horse to have those 2 clunkers, and they happen to be when he was off Lasix, maybe he just wasn't right that day. I mean, he lost the Maxfield to a horse, Raging Torrent, who is an absolute monster, and wish him the best in retirement. And then he lost the Forgo to Bookham Dano. And Scotland, who finished second in there, who was Jackson's playback of, I think, his entire life, if I remember correctly. We'll move to the inside.
He's never had two efforts in a row, without Lasix as well. So maybe that's, second time without it. That was kind of, me giving him. That's the reason I was like, I'll give him another chance.
I like it, and you're probably going to get around 9-2 because he has some back efforts, but he's not this, runner that's running all these very, very competitive figures. Like I would be surprised if a horse like Bucarino didn't get bet down more than Hold My Bourbon. So I think you're going to get a square price. Last horse we'll talk about, Down on the Rail. It's number 1, Full Moon Madness. Obviously, I love that Irad sticks aboard here. Last ran at Delaware Park. I don't know what you want to make of that, but he ran against a lot of common foes in here, in Damon's Mound, in Bucarino, and he beat them both, given it was only by a neck. Comes in here off the freshening for Michelle Nevin, who's been a little bit cold this year, but I do think she can bounce back, and I do think Full Moon Madness can get back in the winner's circle. You keep the jockey and Irad Ortiz, and I like the inside post here, which isn't common for me, and especially in the sprints is, sometimes you can kind of lose some position and kind of get shuffled out of it. Irad's not the guy who's going to get shuffled out of anything. I imagine he's going to kind of sit right behind all the pace setters, and he's going to try and find his way through or make his way through when they get to the top of the stretch, and that's kind of what makes Irad in that sense. So I like the fact that he can kind of sit close, but he doesn't want to be that horse that's up on the lead. He likes to have a target. I think he's going to sit that nice trip behind all the pace. Hopefully they go 2 or 3 across the track for those first 5.5 furlongs, and this is the horse that's left standing at the end. So Full Moon Madness for me is my top pick. Kaylee, you also included this horse in your final leg of your pick 5 ticket. Take it away.
Yeah, I agree with all the points you made, especially about Irad riding this horse out of the gate. There's absolutely no concern there with, the trip that he's going to work out. And I love that he stays aboard after that last effort. Clearly, he really liked the way the horse ran that day. And, this horse is nothing but consistent and hits off a layoff as well. So I also like that. Just another one I didn't want to leave off. Tough horse.
Very tough horse. A fighter, certainly one of the game horses that we have here. That's going to wrap up the late pick 5 sequence. One more time for race number 15 in the Parx Sprint. I'm going 1, 4, 8. Jackson's going with the 11. Kaylee 1, 3, 9, 11. We will go over our pick 5 tickets now as they are complete. We've gone through all 5 legs. Kaylee, take it away with yours $36 ticket that you're going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, thanks to Barnes, it stayed, at a reasonable price with that single and going skinny in the first leg as well. So, I used horses I was pretty confident in and tried to price hunt a little bit in the last leg as one of the more open races of the sequence. And that was kind of my strategy going into this. I guess, there's no better feeling than being alive in the last leg. And you have like 4 logical horses that could pay. So that was kind of how I went into this.
I like it a lot. Jackson, take it away with your very rather skinny pick 5 ticket that'll let you press it up.
Yeah, I'll definitely be pressing this one up. And as I mentioned, I think that first race, at least for me, was tough. I obviously don't have an opinion. That's why I'm 5 deep. So it's probably one, unless something changes, I'd probably just wait for the pick 4 and play it really aggressively. Barnes looks like we all like Barnes. We've talked about it. I'm going to single Barnes. The Cotillion is a tough one. That's one I'd probably weigh a little bit, press up good cheer, and then use some of Cliquot and a horse. Can't think of it. Dry powder. I would use her too. Use them all for different amounts, and then just try to get alive to Oscar. I think Oscar is going to have every shot in there. I love that he's just improved every single time out. I don't see why any reason he can't continue to do that. And if he does take another step forward, he's arguably the horse to beat. But very, very contentious race. I mean, you could make a case for several in there, and I'd be like, yeah, I kind of get it. So going to try to get him home. And then the last race, like I said, I thought it looked like one of the 2 or 3 favorites probably win, and I just preferred the Mott horse on the outside. I think he's most likely to get the best trip out of those 3. So gonna press him up in there and just, hope we're really right about this. And this is a sequence too, where obviously I'll play the pick 4 and press it up, but I'll play it individually too because I just have strong opinions in each of the races. So just got to get a couple of them, be right about a couple of them, and we'll have a good day.
Absolutely. That's Jackson's ticket. Quick math, that's $7.50 if you play it for 50 cents. But you can obviously press it up as much as you want. My ticket we'll talk about. I'm going 4-7 in the first leg, and I got to say, as we went through this sequence, this was the one that built the most amount of confidence because Kaylee also likes the 4 Dilger. Jackson doesn't have this horse anywhere. That means I might just single Dilger as we get into this sequence.
I thought in both races at Saratoga, so I couldn't pick him a third time.
That's fair. That's fair. You got to sign the divorce papers at some point. And I get that the 6 third place finishes maybe make that a little bit easier, but I do think today or Saturday rather is the day for Dilger. If not, I like the 7 Farmo Power. And then if the 7 opts to go in the race tomorrow, Friday, I will likely include the 8, whose name is escaping me, who is Coastal Mission, as my second in there. Next leg, obviously, single Barnes. We'll keep it moving. I'm going to single Clicquot and hopefully pop some champagne as soon as she gets in the winner's circle for that race. Following leg, I'll go 1-8. I'm going to use So Sandy, the Cherie DeVaux horse, who I think is coming on really nice. Got to use Baeza, who I think is going to be the best 3-year-old in that race, and I think is still going to maintain his status as third best 3-year-old in the country, which in previous years, maybe not a huge accolade, but this year I think that means something. And then we'll go on to the last leg, 1-4-8. Full Moon Madness, definitely going to be my top pick in there. But I do think, I went 1-4-8. I don't think I talked about the 4 at all in the last race, but that's okay. We don't need to do that.
You really love the 4 in last race. You like
24 Mamba. Oh, I did use that horse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was, I went 1-8 in one leg, 1-4-8 in the other. So I probably confused myself. We know how I am with numbers, which is ironic considering this is what I do for a living. I did think 24 Mamba deserved a shot. First off the claim, Michelle Giangiulio claims for 50, then protects. Those are pretty much my points, and not only protects but goes into a stake race. So I do like that. Her numbers, the numbers of that horse certainly fit versus this group. Has to take the step up versus stakes competition, but I think can. Other than that, I think the 1 and the 8 are both very logical, who we just spoke about. 8 Caramel Chip if this thing really melts down, and the 1 Full Moon Madness, my top pick. That's my pick 6 ticket or pick 5 ticket. That is only $6 if you play it for 50 cents. All of us with very budget friendly tickets. Feel free to press them up as you wish. That's all the racing we have to talk about. But Kaylee, we started the show and the sun was setting in your face, and now it's nighttime and the lights are on. What do you have going on out at Keeneland before I assume you're coming back up to Belmont at the Big A?
Yeah, I come back on Tuesday, back from Kentucky. So I guess maybe I'll go to Churchill on Saturday. Once go to the sale in the morning, and then go to Churchill because Immersive is running. So excited about that. Might have to take the drive out to see her and Ragtime, Vermont. So excited about that.
That's awesome. Jackson, how about you? What do you have? Also, first of all, if we can talk about Ragtime, that is still my Breeders' Cup Juvenile Sprint, or my Breeders' Cup Sprint filly and mare sprint contender down there, even though I picked against her in the last race. I picked the winner, so, oh well. Jackson, what you got going on this week before we see you at Keeneland for opening weekend?
Nothing too crazy. Pretty mellow this week for me. Anyone interested? If you like the Saturday card, check out the 2-day pick 4 they have. They have the Presque Isle Downs and Pennsylvania Derby pick 4.
Oh, wow.
Those bets are always awesome. The 2-day bets, low minimum, low takeout, all that good stuff.
CAWs won't be involved because it's a 2-day bet.
Yep. So it's going to automatically pay 4 times what it should. So if you have any kind of opinion, that's one you should have to be part of.
Which arguably 4 times what it should is what it should pay. Because why? Yeah, whatever. We don't have the CAW conversation, but either way, that's going to be a ton of fun. I just got word that our guest from a few weeks ago, Megan Burgess, is going to be at Keeneland opening weekend. So Kaylee, you and I will be sure to say hi, as she's one of your NYRA colleagues as well.
Oh yeah, I'm getting dinner with her tomorrow.
Fantastic. That'll be great, I'm sure. Yep, go ahead and drink to that. I'm out of my beers, so I'll have to drink water. Jackson, you probably have to get back to work, but thanks for not being in a Honda. Kaylee, wonderful to have the 3 of us all back on the same screen again. It's been like at least a month, right?
Yeah.
I think so, but yeah, happy to be back. It's going to be a strong fall and already getting excited for the Breeders' Cup.
Oh yeah, Breeders' Cup out in Del Mar. Kaylee, I understand you'll be there with Matthew.
Absolutely. I'll be there to see Sovereignty for sure.
Incredible. Jackson, you will be down there. I know for a fact you won't be missing the Breeders' Cup.
It depends if my Del Mar friends can get me in or not.
Well, if only you had a Del Mar friend that was a co-host with you. We'll see if he can get him a Breeders' Cup ticket or what goes on. But for everybody that watched, thanks so much. Please play the late pick 5 at Parx this Saturday for Pennsylvania Derby Day. It's going to be an excellent card. 2 Grade 1 races in the Grade 1 Cotillion for the 3-year-old fillies. Grade 1 Pennsylvania Derby for the 3-year-olds. Thanks to Nick Zito for joining us. That was pretty fucking awesome, especially getting to relive those memories. So to everybody that joined us, thank you. We'll see you next week for whatever sequence we talk about. We'll let you know sometime in the coming week. Peace.